Hopefully I will get to play it when my brother gets his PlayStation 5. Prize the PlayStation from his dead corpse to be able to play it, but...
I always find a way to break games.
Don't care. Get it out.
Like that now for VR users that's the benchmark.
You chose to engrave the event of Gary getting mauled by an animal, and you depicted him particularly cowardly.
It was a moral victory for us, wasn't it?
But then how much did you fall for that though, Rob? Because if you kept falling for that, that's more you.
Happy New Year, podcast listeners, and welcome to the first video game chat podcast of 2021. A podcast talking about games, tech, and other nerdy goodness. And I am your host. It's me, Geordie, aka Geordie Whiz, and I'm joined by my pals and co-hosts, Rob.
Hello.
Aka Rob Coxey.
Shit. Hello.
And Gary, aka N-Dash.
Hello.
We hope you all had a fantastic Christmas and New Year's celebrations. And for your New Year's resolution, if you enjoy our podcast, then please share the podcast to a friend or a loved one, or even a person you hate, if you're that way inclined. And tell them to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at VGC Podcast. And to join our Discord community. The links are in the description and or bio.
VGC_.
Did I miss the underscore again? Yeah. At VGC_podcast. So guys, let's have a quick recap of 2020. So, 2020 saw the launch of the next generation of video gaming consoles with both Microsoft and Sony having released the Xbox Series X/S and the PlayStation 5 consoles, both with very different and controversial designs. One of the most shocking events of the year was involved in Mixer's shutdown. Whilst the streaming service never quite rivaled its competitor Twitch, Microsoft heavily invested in the platform, then abruptly announced that it was shutting down, and in Mixer's absence, Microsoft has opted to partner with Facebook Gaming instead. Speaking of Twitch, and a lot of issues over Twitch is still to this day, DMCA claims as a subsequent bans on people's accounts due to VODs and clips being copyright claimed by music labels. Naughty, naughty.
Ooh.
VR games have become a lot more popular, with the Valve Index and Oculus Rift S headsets finally back in stock, and the Oculus Quest 2 being a lot better than most people expected. Now, we couldn't talk about 2020 without mentioning the impact of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, which began for us in the UK in March, and has introduced phrases such as lockdown, furlough, and working from home. This affected the games industry massively, with delays and crunch time and cancellations of many conferences and events, replacing them with virtual shows. It also helped the industry in some way, as a lot of people who had been working from home or furloughed and locked down indoors turned into gaming as a means to pass the time. Happy gamer noises. Easy to learn games with little to no narrative and large audience enjoyment potential, including Fall Guys, Among Us, and the Jackpot games, saw increases in popularity during the pandemic, as it brought people together online during a time where social interactions had been banned. Mobile gaming as well has continued to grow as a major platform for video gaming, and as part of this, Epic Games initiated lawsuits against Apple and Google over their mobile app store revenue cut policies. And in other news, Xbox Game Studios have bought out ZeniMax Media and its subsidiaries, and Electronic Arts outbid Take-Two Interactive for Codemasters. Whoa, what a year! What have we been playing this week, guys?
What a segue. What a year. Now, back to the important stuff.
Exactly.
Well, it has been a year, though.
Oh, God. Well, not exactly the best year, by a long shot, but, you know, it's had its ups and downs, mostly downs.
Yeah. Gaming has been very weird this year, or past year. It's been very weird. Like you said, Jordy, you covered it. It's gaming has been one of the industries that has somehow managed to survive throughout everything because people have more time on their hands, and gaming is a good way to not only fill this extra time that you have, but also as more of like an escapism thing as well, you know, to try and forget everything that's happening in the world and take your mind off things.
Oh yeah, it's sort of slap bang in the middle of done really well, but also been affected quite badly by it.
Oh yeah,
Like I don't think there's any other industries that has like yo-yoed so much this year as sort of gaming has.
no, I think there's probably a handful of industries that are like that. I mean, I guess any like beauty industries are probably similar because hairdressers are shut down, then they reopen, then they're shut down again, that sort of thing. Sure, it's the same for every other kind of beauty one, but most industries have either thrived.
I can imagine that's mainly bad though for those sort of people where even when they were shut down, it was literally the worst that it could be. But even when sort of gaming studios and stuff were shut down, people were still working from home and still able to sort of make sales and stuff like that. So they're not fluctuating, not really yo-yoing in the terms of going off and on and off and on. It was more like they were just fluctuating in productivity in their industry.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it'll be very difficult for like developers to work remotely all the time because you kind of need someone next to you to like run through loads of code. So I assume that a lot of developers have been on calls for days. Great, just like chatting with their colleagues.
Well, I can imagine if you are a developer, you've got a pretty impressive rig at home anyway.
Oh yeah,
to be able to do bits and pieces from home. So
that would have had
they were
all
probably already prepared.
Yeah, all the computers will have been shipped back to their homes anyway. I assume if their employers cared about their employees, but that's just what I think.
But yeah. We've managed to get through it, and now it's 2021. We're looking forward into the future, and sort of seeing what games. Or we're going to have a quick little back and even just see what our favourite games of the year were, and what our not so favourite games of the years were in today's episode. But first, we'll just go through a few games that we've been playing this week. So. I'll kick us off. We've all been playing a lot of Rainbow Six Siege this week. We're really enjoying it. Been playing with the Swedes, who were kind enough to gift me and you, Gary, some money to go towards buying some operators, which we managed to buy most of them, I believe.
Yeah, thank you so much again. That really means so much for both me and Jody because we had like not many operators at all, which was fine. We were able to play the game, but now we have so much more choice and we don't have to worry about if our operators are being picked or whatever. But now we have to worry about being good at the game with all these new operators. But yeah, thank you again. Awesome.
Yeah, we've been having good fun with that. I'm almost at a level where we can start playing ranked, which is good to know.
Oh yes. Speaking of ranked, Rob, myself, and some of the Swedes. Unfortunately, Jordy wasn't with us that night playing ranked, but Rob and I got to gold 3.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, gold 3, and then very swiftly right back down to silver 2, as is tradition.
Very swiftly. I think I'm now gold. Sorry, not gold. Silver 5. I think so. I'm pretty low.
it's not gone well.
No, it hasn't. Fun though.
Yep.
We've been playing a bit of Rocket League as well, the three of us, and we actually got to our first final in the tournament last night, which was quite exciting and very tense for all of us.
I would say as well that even though we lost and we came second place, I think it was a well fought tournament. We were up.
It was a moral victory for us, wasn't it?
Moral victory?
I'm not sure how. But it was
getting to a final for us is an achievement in itself.
Oh right, yeah. Like I'm really happy that we got second place. Like that was incredible, to be honest. And it's the best we've ever performed as a trio on that game.
I think the furthest we made it before was semi-finals, wasn't it?
Semi-finals, yeah. And we got very quickly kicked out on that one. We got annihilated the time before, whereas this time we actually had a very throughout we were just doing so well. We just unfortunately got bested at the very end.
But yeah, other than that, I've not really played much else other than a little bit of Among Us when we played the other night, and I assume we will have a video in due course over on the N- channel, I assume, Gary, with a few more of our plays and good times that we had over on with the Swedes on the Among Us.
Yeah, hopefully. I have yet to edit the videos that will hopefully be going up, but I will try and get on that as soon as I can, because they are good fun to edit.
And it has been Christmas, so we've not really had much time to do any video or editing stuff, have we?
No, we've got to have a break as well.
Exactly.
What with everything
Put your feet up, enjoy the festive period.
Yeah, exactly. All the news that went on beforehand as well. It just kind of puts you in a bit of a downer, really, doesn't it? But hey ho, got to crack on.
What about you, Rob? What have you been playing this week? Have you played any games?
Yeah, I've actually been playing a chunk of Rimworld again for the first time in ages, which has come a very long way since the last time I played it. And it's very good fun, actually. I'm really getting into it and sort of the swing of things, because it's when you start looking at it as more of a story game, how it plays out as sort of a randomly generated story for the guys in your settlement, as opposed to a survival game. It's actually way more fun. And Geordie, I've made my current survival group on it is it's me, you, and Gary. I made us as custom characters to start off with, and at one point Gary got attacked by a wild animal, and you've become quite good at building furniture and things, and you made a masterwork item which usually comes engraved or something, and you chose to engrave the event of Gary getting mauled by an animal, and you depicted him particularly cowardly or something in it, and just on a dining chair or something, just to really rub it in.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
This is where I will die.
But yeah, it's very good fun and quite charming and relaxing as well, which is quite a nice energy.
Exit pursued by a bear, yeah?
Yeah.
We were discussing this just before we started, Rob. Do you want to maybe give a brief rundown of Rimworld for those who aren't aware or ever played the game before?
Yeah, it's a game that essentially just starts off with you and however many survivors you've created crashing down on a remote planet in the outer rim of wherever, and it's just your job to kind of survive, and you got to do your research trees to get your skills up and craft more stuff to defend your base and farm and build a settlement, essentially. And the end game is essentially to get off the planet. Eventually you'll hit enough research and stuff to have created a spaceship of your own, or there's quests that you can travel across the planet and take part in. And, one of those will end with you escaping as well and things. So you can just keep playing as long as you wanted to, or you can use it as the plot of we've got to get off this world sort of thing if you wanted to. So
am I right in saying that it's the same developers who do Prison Architect?
No, it's got a very similar aesthetic, but it's made by one guy and it's his first game.
I thought it was the same developers as well.
Yeah, just because it's got that really kind of... It's got a very similar sort of aesthetic, doesn't it? It's the sort of top-down and isometric, cartoony little characters and things.
For me, it's the names that hover below or above the characters. I can't remember exactly where, but that specific element reminds me very much of Prison Architect.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good fun, and still on the old Steam sale, I think, if I were remotely interested in it.
Have you been playing anything else, Rob? Or?
Well, we've been playing a lot of Rocket League and a lot of Rainbow Six again, which you've already covered. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. So
I was just wondering if there was any other games you'd played, or.
Nah, not really. Again, I've been quite ill, still am, so I've been mostly snoozing, to be honest.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
We played some Satisfactory.
We did,
didn't we, Gary?
We did, yeah, which is very, very fun. Still in early access, but I assumed that had been fully released a while back, but no, it's still early access, and it's
for an early access game, I'm very impressed with it.
Yeah.
It's not too buggy. There's I've not noticed any bugs as of yet.
I would say
It does get a little bit.
the only bugs that we've come across are when we tried to break the game.
Oh yeah, we basically try to extend the number of players that you can. You only have 4 players per game, but there is a way you can extend it. But obviously, by doing that, you reduce the performance of the game, which too rightly so. Yeah, having 5 people in a game is only meant to be for 4 people. You could tell the more people that are in the game, the more like laggy and like how much it actually took to run the server went up and down. So
But it was still a good experience.
Other than that,
it wasn't like game breaking or anything.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It basically, if you've ever played Minecraft Tekkit, where it adds large machines for gathering materials and stuff like that and shipping them from one place to another, is very, very similar, but in sort of its own sort of engine with sort of big mining drills and then conveyor belts which take all this ore from one machine to another, and then you basically can upgrade them, make them faster, and then you can also make like constructors which will then build that particular ore into particular parts that you need to build particular things, and it's just very enjoyable and very satisfying.
It's very satisfying.
Satisfactory.
And it is, if anyone's ever played Factorio, it's got very similar vibes to that. Slightly different because it's 3D instead of top down, but basically same sort of thing. You're making like supply chains, trying to get the machines to be as optimized as possible to make sure that get to the end game as soon as possible. But I don't think, being in early access, as far as I'm aware, the end game is still yet to come, right? Or at least that's what
I'm not sure. I've not got that far yet, unfortunately.
No,
but as far as we've got, there is quite a lot still left to do. But then there is no end game as of yet, I believe. But no, we had a good time playing that, and Gary got a new nickname from it, and
yeah, I did.
I don't know if Rob knows this.
No, this is new to me.
So I think we need to give a little bit of background before we say what the name is, right? Just so that everyone is on the same. So,
oh yeah, we all had our own little roles in the making of the factory, and basically we started off with a hub in one place, and we decided it was a bit of a shit positioning, really. So we found somewhere that was a bit more flatter. We made a whole new area somewhere else, and just transferred all the stuff over from the original base to there. And we all sort of assigned roles to each other. I was like, right, okay, well, I'm going to get the sort of the main raw materials all hooked up, so that we've got all the ores coming in and being refined into their specific bars and stuff like that. So I was doing that, and then one of the other guys was doing making sure that they got smelted and then put into the constructors in a correct way, that they were building the parts that we needed properly. And Gary decided to self-appoint himself to make sure that the electricity was running through all the machines properly and correctly.
Yeah, so
I don't know if you want to take over from here.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a small machine which runs off biofuel. So I was like, right, well, someone give me biofuel. I'll create these machines and I'll hook them all up onto, like, make sure that all of the machines are efficiently running with the right amount of power and not overloading like the power generator. So I was doing that to begin with, and it was on small machines. Had about 10 of these power generators. They were all hooked up with wires. It was all messy. So I was like, do you know what? Fuck it. Like, let's properly redo this. And at the same time, another one of our friends was appointing themselves to be the coal generator. So this is going to be like a much more efficient version of the power. So they did that. they had 5 power generators going up. So I thought it would be good to do 5 separate power grids, so it wouldn't overload all the time. So I'd have one grid for like area 1, area 2, area 3, area 5, etc. And I spent, how long did I spend, Jordy? Was it like fucking 7 hours, maybe?
Well, I'm actually curious myself to how long we played that game for, considering that we've only played it for one session.
Well, we played it 10 hours straight. I mean, I did anyway. Like, I had it before you. So I played 10 hours in one day.
I played 11. I played 11 hours in one day.
Oh,
I stayed on for an extra hour than you did.
Yeah. So,
but yeah.
So they had these grids, and it wasn't for the whole 10 hours that I was doing this, but it was probably about 7 or 8 hours that I spent trying to fucking figure out how to do different power grids and make sure that it was running efficiently. And all the way through, the other guys are like, you can just hook up all the power into one grid so that everything's running off the same power grid. And I was like, yeah, but that's too easy, isn't it? Let's do this. And honestly, I got to like a fucking melting point because everyone was saying, actually, what was the nickname that you all appointed me, Jordy?
Power Boy.
And they kept going, Power Boy, can I have some power? And I was like, no, it's all fucking overloading. Don't put anything on the power grid. And then they would just add something to the power grid and shut everything off. And I'm like, who the fuck added something to the fucking power grid?
There's a fantastic noise whenever the power grid shut down. It was just like a sub drop.
Yeah. And everyone just started laughing.
Yeah. We'd all shout, Power Boy, and shake our fists in the air.
It was a very very funny session.
Yeah, it's a good laugh, and I recommend getting it, Rob, if you haven't already got it.
I will have a look.
I do know that isn't your type of game, though, Rob.
I know, but I will have a look at it. An honest look.
Yeah. Hopefully you join, because it is good fun.
Even if we were to say stream it on our Twitch at VGC Podcast, and maybe you could just come along and watch me and Gary play it and see how you enjoy it.
Yeah, I'd be up for that.
Underscore.
Of course, it's underscore, Gary. It's always underscore.
I'm just making sure.
Twitch.tv/VGC_podcast.
Thank you, George.
Go and follow us.
And we will eventually begin streaming. Hopefully this year we'll get on top of that.
Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to start streaming. That is one of our plans for the new year. So
it is, yes.
Maybe we make it our New Year's resolution, boys, that we start streaming on the podcast channel.
Well, actually, Jordy,
get some content on it.
My New Year's resolution is 1920 by 1080.
Oh.
I stole that joke. I'm sorry. That wasn't mine. I thought it was
whereas Rob's is some bulky extra wide.
3840 by 1600, boy. Really rolls off the tongue.
Really does.
It does, yeah.
It's really helpful having one person with a wider screen as well. It really is the most helpful.
Boo.
maybe I'll just play all my games horizontally from now on.
Could do, but I mean, why?
It's to be different.
I mean, you're more than welcome to, Jordy, but it's up to you. You're literally going to be like, we mainly play first-person shooters, so you're going to be fucked.
Yep. Unless
you like stretch the pixels, but yeah, fuck that. Last game that I played was Dead by Daylight. I know we've spoken about this before, Rob, and you're not a big fan, and you said you're not a big fan either, Jordy, right?
No, I know it's sort of got the sort of Friday the 13th vibes. But the main thing that sort of throws me off is the leveling system and the fact that you can get trounced just because someone's played the game for a lot longer than you have. If the game was a little bit more balanced and didn't matter if you played 5 minutes or 5 hours, then I'd probably be more interested. But having sort of an online game like that where you can just get dicked on straight from the beginning if you don't know what you're doing. Then it's just not really something that I've really. And plus, I'm not a great fan of horror games. It's just something I'm not really into.
Yeah, I found my problem with it was like that when I played it when it first came out, which I did admittedly just get while waiting to fill the time for Friday the 13th, which was coming out just a little after. But I found that the survivors would quite frequently just kite you by just jumping through a window. Essentially, you as the killer would have to then go around, and they would just jump through the other side of the window again, and there was very little you could do about it. And I just found that incredibly annoying as just one of those how did the devs not see this behavior coming sort of deals. Just the cheapest sort of plays to survive was just annoying. And I just didn't find that particularly fun. So I don't know how much it's changed since then, because it's been
how much did you fall for that though, Rob? Because if you kept falling for that, that's more.
No, I'm not talking about falling for it. I'm talking about that just being the sort of go-to way to just get the killer to not be interested in you. It's there's giving people the slip and hiding and, the occasional juke. Yes, that's given me 5 seconds head start against the killer sort of thing, which, is key to those sort of games. But then just going, right, well, now I'm going to climb straight through immediately sort of thing. Whereas with Friday, climbing through a window took time, and that was time that Jason could actually hit you.
I think they might have changed that, Rob, because
they might have done, but
jumping through the window it takes time. It takes the same amount of time as jumping through the window in Friday.
Well, they've definitely changed that since, because that was very early days for me, and that just wound me up, and that was just one of the things that put me off, because I was just like, what's the goddamn point? I do still got it.
Install it. Have another go, because coming into Dead by Daylight, I don't know, 3-4 years late? It's actually really fucking good fun. It's one of those games that you have to play with friends, because if you don't play with friends, it's just going to be frustrating. Because Friday, when you die on Friday, it doesn't matter. It's not a game where you have to win. Yeah. It's just a game about having
the fun with your friends. Just taking part.
Exactly. And I feel if you go into Dead by Daylight with the same thought process and not be I have to win this, I have to get this person upgraded, XYZ, all that shit that comes along with it. If you just see it as I'm going to have fun with my friends, and if we're not having fun, we're not having fun. But the 10 hours or so that I played of that, I had a lot of fun. It reminds me a hell of a lot of Friday the 13th, but with, like Jordy said, with the leveling up. Yeah, there were matches where we got dicked on, but then there were matches where we dicked on someone else. So it's kind of I think it's how you look at that game. If you are constantly wanting to win, then maybe that's not the game for you. Whereas if you're just doing it for a bit of a laugh, then I think it's quite fun, because it has filled, for me, it's filled the Friday 13th hole that has been missing for 2-3 years now for me.
Yeah, completely get that. I mean, it's something that I'll get it installed again, and I'll have a go with it, because again, I've always found those sorts of games way more fun with, say, with you guys as a group sort of thing, with you and the Swedes and stuff, and just having a laugh with it rather than playing it competitively, which is what a lot of people do. Which is where that try-hardy bullshit comes in, because people do tend to cheap out.
Yeah, and if we started doing that, it wouldn't be fun. What's the point of playing a game to just well, I say that, but we did do bullshit plays on Friday, and we probably will do bullshit plays on Dead by Daylight as well. Or Snow, yeah. Funny as fuck though, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. No one's going to understand that reference.
No. If you watch the YouTuber Snow SOS, he's actually quite successful, isn't he, at this point?
He's pretty successful, but...
Yeah, he used to play a lot of games with us, and not only did he completely quit Friday the 13th for playing with us, I don't actually think he's going to ever play it or with us ever again.
No, and I don't
think that was your doing as well, Gary.
It was entirely my doing. Yeah, I was being a massive troll and exploiting the game massively, and it triggered him so much. And I didn't mean it to. It was just like it was just cheese after cheese after cheese. Like with the mechanics, we completely fucked the mechanics up, but it just
you were somehow like ducking through his hits and shit, and just
yeah. I don't know how I did. I always find a way to break games, but I didn't intend on that outcome. I gotta say, but it was funny. I am sorry if he is listening. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll probably give Dead by Daylight an install and play it if all of us are going to jump on it and see how that is. I'll give it a go.
Yeah, because you could say the same thing about like Damned or any game where it's asymmetrical. If you have a try-hard killer or a try-hard survivor, it's not a fun game. There were matches like that on Friday where they were literally cheating to kill everyone, and it's like, why? Why do you feel the need to cheat?
Where is the fun?
What are you achieving from cheating in Friday the 13th? It's not like there's literally no point. You know what I mean? Like, what do you gain from it?
Yay, +1 victory. Cool, okay.
Yeah, +1 victory, and I'm not even able to like scream out
loud. A bunch of people that are never going to talk to me again. Amazing. I had fun.
Yeah. It's just weird small dick energy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where it has been also the Steam sale over the winter. Have you guys picked up any games or anything that that you're interested in playing in or trying? I know I've recently picked up because it was on sale and it was only £3. Mud Runner, which I was quite interested in playing.
Yeah, and have you given it a go yet?
No, but I'm planning to this week. I've had a lot of work come up and have been quite busy doing that, so I've not had time to play many new games. But it's one that I've seen people play it on streams and stuff like that. It seems like a really interesting sort of game. So you're moving. It's like a truck simulator game, but you're on like a lot more extreme weather conditions. There's a lot of mud, snow, mountain passes and stuff you have to drive by. There's a lot of like winching yourself to trees and getting yourself through large muddy puddles and areas, stuff like that. It's quite a fun looking game. I think I watched Hat Films.
Yeah.
Play quite a bit of it on stream before.
That's where I recognise it from.
Yeah.
I thought they'd played it because I do recognise it, and I think for £4, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's multiplayer as well. Like we could all jump on and do the same sort of missions together, and it'd be quite a good game. Just for like a chill one, really. It's not really how do you say, like a competitive game or anything like that. It's just something that will sort of just pass the time. A bit like Satisfactory, really.
Yeah. I mean, you say chill. I can see myself getting very angry at this game. I could just, I like loading logs onto the back of a truck. That's going to trigger me. Going over terrain, it's going to trigger me. I mean, I'm sure it'd be really funny, but I don't. Oh god, I'd have to. I don't know. I don't even know how I'd find that game actually.
Yeah, I'm probably going to give it a go. I might stream a bit of that and see how it goes.
Would you be streaming that on the Geordie Whiz Twitch?
No, I'll stream it on the VGC.
Oh.
_VGC _
_VGC
podcast.
_pod_cast_. There we go.
Yes.
Not enough underscores.
If I just say underscore all the time, then I can't get it wrong, can I?
Unless you go to
that's how it works.
The knockoff VGC podcast.
Yeah. XX _ VGC.
LL _
podcast. Yeah. We are confusing everyone now with these names.
I mean, to be honest,
it's just VGC _ podcast, nothing else.
I'm pretty sure most people have zoned out at the very beginning of all of our episodes anyway. So
yeah, probably. Yeah. just Sent to sleep by my voice. And yeah, I also picked up No Man's Sky.
Nice.
As I heard, obviously, that was one of the I wasn't talking about this, but it's one of the sort of Cinderella stories of this year. Really, it's really grown to be quite a successful game after its terrible launch many years ago. Was it many years ago, or was it last year?
It's ages ago now.
Like 2016, I think.
Yeah, it's been out for a very long time.
Yeah.
This year, they brought out their No Man's Sky's Origins, and it's basically the game that they wanted to release way back then. And I think the devs are at a point now where they love it, and they feel it's going to be a really well enjoyed game. So I did plan to pick it up for both of you boys,
but we've already got it.
Rob already had the game, so I bought it just for Gary. So hopefully we can install and play this. Maybe we play this on a VGC_podcast stream.
Yes, you nailed it, Jordy. I would love to play. I would love to play on stream, and I think it. Am I correct in believing that it is VR?
Yes.
Cool.
It is VR supported. Yes.
So I could play with a controller and headset.
Yes.
Yep.
I've heard that it's really great in VR visually, but apparently navigating the menus in the VR is a little bit iffy, a bit awkward, and is a lot more easier in flat than VR.
Well, maybe we could try it in VR, and if it is an absolute shambles, then we could switch to flat.
Yeah.
I wanted to play No Man's Sky for a while. I played it when it was released, and yeah, Christ, that was dull as fuck when I first released. But it was beautiful. That's the thing.
You said you played it on the console, didn't you?
Yeah, I played it on the PS4 about a month or two after it was released, because a friend of mine, Chris, lent me his copy, and I really enjoyed it, but to a point. I got maybe 4 hours worth of enjoyment out of that game, and then I didn't feel the need to play it anymore because I'd done everything that was available in the game. Like, I searched for a planet, left that planet. Oh, another planet. Oh, it looks identical to the one before. Oh, everything's the same. Okay, another planet. Okay, cool. Slightly different, but toxic. Now I can't do anything here. Another planet. Now it's on fire. Okay, can't do anything here. It's just I got bored. But the new updates.
I can imagine that is a lot more exciting and interesting when you're actually playing with some friends and you can work together to go around and do those tasks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like the game was originally supposed to be like.
And I remember when you tried to meet up with people, you couldn't fucking see them.
No, it was a thing of everyone. It was an online world, and there were other players in there, but you could never ever like pinpoint the exact planet that your friends were on or anything like that, and you could never ever like team up with anyone. But now apparently it's just a case of just join up with a friend and off you go, sort of thing.
Sounds
which
good.
I think is a lot nicer and it'd be a lot more fun.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. I think it's one of those games like what am I thinking? Sea of Thieves, where you've got to make your own fun.
Yeah, it's an exploration game, isn't it? So it's very much like Minecraft. Sort of walk around, explore new biomes, new different areas. You can make a base on your home planet and stuff like that, which you can all sort of like then go off to different planets yourself if you did want to sort of go off individually at some point and then meet back on like a home base planet, which is really cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this. I really do want to get myself sunk into a sort of a nice space exploration game that doesn't take like a supercomputer to play like Star Citizen.
Yeah. Another game.
Sorry, Rob. That was a little dig there at Star Citizen. I know you're giving yourself a Chinese burn in the corner.
I'm just going to ignore it. Like, when that game is done and we're in our 40s, we're going to love it in what little free time we have.
As I said when I first signed up to Star Citizen, my kids are going to love this game.
Yeah. it will be a really good game when it comes out. When it comes out.
Yep. I mean, it is already a good game when you do actually play it. It's good fun. Like, last time you played, Gary, when they'd added the mines and me, you and Elliot went in with like the full proper in-game voiceover stuff and we went hand mining in the caves. It was a really interesting and fun experience and, technically a really good game, which, does show that like a lot of what they're doing is, really detailed, interesting technical work, but again, it's just waiting for it all to come together.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like at the moment, it's just a glorified tech demo, which is what we signed up for.
Yeah.
But
that's alpha, baby.
It is. And another game, Jody, that what I believe was on sale, but Rob picked up for me for Christmas, was Teardown. I am very much looking forward to playing that. I haven't had a chance yet because all we've been playing this past week or past couple of weeks, while we've been stuck in our flats, not our families, is playing multiplayer games. So everyone's just been playing games together. So it's mainly been multiplayer at the moment, and I haven't really had any.
Need to get that social interaction, yo.
Exactly, yeah. Somehow. But yeah, thank you for that, Rob. I can't wait to play it.
No problem, my dude. And thank you very much for, getting me my little Christmassy treat as well. My good buddy.
Yes. Well, Hades, didn't you, didn't you, Rob?
Yes, I did.
Well,
yes.
While we were recording the last episode of the podcast, I was struggling to think what Rob would like for his Christmas, to be honest, because he owns most games that he wants. As soon as the game comes out, he'll get it.
Yeah, or it's on. If it's something that I've wanted for ages, and then I see it on sale, I'm just like, yoink.
Yeah, exactly. But then, as soon as he said he was keen on Hades, which I didn't even know you were into that type of game, really, Rob. I know that we've got Curse of the Dead Gods, which is similar-ish, but I wasn't. No, but as soon as you said, I was like, fuck it, gonna get him that. And literally while we were recording, I just fucking bought it for him.
I've also got Firewatch from Brendan for Christmas as well. Ooh. So, yeah. So I'm going to get that installed because that's one that, again, like, has been incredibly well reviewed and things, and everybody says it's absolutely stunning to look at and just a really interesting game to play. But again, I've just never grabbed it. But now I've got it, so I'm going to play for it when I can. So thank you very much, Mr. Brendan.
Nice. But yeah, so let's move on to the main segment of today's episode, which I aptly named the tops and the flops of 2020, and where we will discuss our top games of this year and the worst games of this year. And I think I'll kick us off with one of my favourite games of this year, which I will put in as Among Us. And we've all had great fun playing Among Us. And for the £3 that it cost, we've got so many hours in it. It's so much fun just to lie and just see your friends. But yeah, that's one of my favourite games. On the flippity flop, from a top to a flop, the Marvel Avengers game that came out in September time. I was very disappointed in that game.
Were you? I thought you loved it.
I do love Marvel. I love the story. I did enjoy the game as it was starting off. But as you got further into the game, I think I've only got 10 hours played on the story, and it's just the more and more you played, the more and more you're sort of just picking up extra items, and it just wasn't enjoyable. There's new DLC that I've noticed that they've released and they've given to everyone for free. For the Kate Bishop, which is basically Hawkeye's
protege.
Protege. Which is maybe I'll give it a go. But I feel like for my bang for my buck, it didn't perform very well.
And it was like 55 quid or something like that.
Yeah, for the way I will sort of explain it is it's like it's 2020's Anthem for me.
Oh, that's rough.
2019 Anthem was an absolute flop for me, and I thought it would have been a lot better. And I think Marvel's Avengers sort of did the same thing. It sort of enticed me in with the great big red Marvel lettering and all of the characters that I know and love, and some that I've not played before and were quite interested in sort of learning about and going through the comics and learning a lot about the characters. And yeah, it was just something that didn't really
land.
Didn't really tickle me the right way.
That's a shame, because you were very excited by that game as well, which I never was. So I'm not a big fan of superhero stuff, as our listeners are probably
quite aware
at
this point.
Yeah, but I didn't want to take that away from you either, Jordy. But
yeah, I was looking for a Spider-Man game on PC. That's what I was looking for.
I wouldn't quite like actual Spider-Man because they're such good fun games.
Yeah, and when you showed the is it Spider-Man 2 with the new skin?
Oh, the Miles Morales expansion.
Yeah, so that looks
standalone.
cool.
Especially with the actual animated skin as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like that that level of detail, and just watching the gameplay, I'm like, okay, I can get behind that. Like, truthfully honest, Spider-Man's one of my least favorite superheroes. But aside from that, that game actually does him justice. So I can get behind that.
Yeah, that's a PlayStation exclusive, though. Unfortunately,
it is.
It's annoying, but hopefully I will get to play it when my brother gets his PlayStation 5. I may have to sort of prise the PlayStation from his dead corpse to be able to play it, but hopefully he will let me. If I buy the game for him, hopefully he'll let me play for a couple of hours at least, maybe. But yeah, that's two of mine. Have you guys got a top and a flop game to talk about?
Are we only doing one of each?
I got there's multiple I've got. So
I'm going to say my top and flop. Cyberpunk.
Yes, it is a bit of both, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a bit of a top, bit of a flop.
Because that game, it's really good fun and very immersive, but yeah, it's not as good as it should have been after so many delays and like the years of hype. It's not as good as it should be. That's pretty much it. And it's obviously been really broken on two platforms that they said they've advertised it running on, and running on a lot better than it actually does, to the point where it's such blatant false advertising for those platforms that they've even completely removed it from the PlayStation Store, which is not exactly a sign that you've done well.
Yeah.
I keep still getting adverts for play it on the world's most powerful console. And I'm like, probably stop running those adverts.
Yeah, like you've fucked up, lads. Just
I mean, it isn't. I don't think it's. I think those adverts are run by Microsoft, not necessarily CD Projekt Red, because it is Xbox ad at the end.
Yeah.
But I feel like Microsoft should be like, maybe let's remove that advert from the roster.
Yeah, but oof. I mean, I am really enjoying it. I'm still yet to finish it. I found myself much less, eager to play it than I was expecting. But
yeah, it's one of those ones. It is a bit of a one where you're sort of going, I do want to play this, but I would like to play this when it's a bit better.
Yeah. Because there's been some horrible FPS issues and things like that shouldn't be there. really bad AI and things on it as well. Like, the traffic AI is one that obviously a lot of people have picked up on. The fact that, you know, they don't really swerve to get out of the way or anything like you'd expect in any games with driving in. Like, I'm not saying specifically GTA, but even games, you know, that had driving sections in, say your Sleeping Dogs and things like that. Hell, even your True Crimes back in like the GameCube and PlayStation 2 days, like, had significantly more alive sort of vehicle AI. And the fact that they've clearly not coded NPCs to actually ride motorbikes properly outside of those scripted sections. Like, you don't see any AI on the motorbikes in the game. You just find the motorbikes. It's, you know, there's obviously a lot of cut corners and things, and it's, you know, a bit of a...
I don't think I've successfully rode a motorbike in that game yet, because every motorbike I get on, as soon as you try to pull off, you literally, like, start to just crawl. It's like the wheels are bugged into the floor of the road. Yeah, it will sound like you're driving really fast, but in reality, you're literally crawling at like -1 mile an hour. It's ridiculous. It's like, if I ever run up the game and do it multiple times, I've restarted the game multiple times, verified my game cache multiple times, and just whenever I get on a motorbike, it's nothing. You can't drive anywhere. It's like motorbikes were made to just be scenery, essentially. But then I've also seen so many things of just like NPCs sticking out of their cars and stuff like that. Or if you're playing in third person when driving a car, you can see your character sticking out of the top, T-posing and stuff like that.
How do you even get to third person? I've not even found that fucking button.
Yeah, it's only in cars and stuff, really. It's...
Oh, you can't do third person shooting?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah. Which is another thing. Which if we ever do an episode on Cyberpunk fully, the fact that you have a character creator, but you can never ever see your person in third person unless it's in a camera mode. Yeah, it all makes me think: was there a point of me ever actually having the character creator at the beginning?
I mean, the photo mode's kind of cool, but I agree. Like, because you don't see your character ever talking. Yeah,
I mean, like, remember when they did the big like hour-long show off of how it looked at, was it E3 2018 when they did that big hour-long section from the start of the game, and like, it opens with an actual cutscene of you and Jackie in the elevator, and you have like a conversation and stuff. So I think like they were having everything be actual like cutscenes and stuff that then just flowed into the gameplay like that. But then at some point they just went, oh, that's more effort than it's worth. We can just have like the conversations play out in front of you, sort of thing. And then you have those obviously really long, like, just where you're being driven around by like Jackie at the start of the game and things when you're entering the lockdown area. I think that might have been initially a cutscene sort of thing, but then just became a you're going to be sat there sort of thing. So I feel like that is another thing that just ended up on the cutting room floor, which again, as you said, means that you spend however long making your character and never really see him. Which
I mean, it's I don't get me wrong, I love character creation, and even if you don't see the character, like, to me that's less of a
because at the end of the day you wanted to make your character for an RPG, you know.
So I agree. It would be nice to see my character in more ways than just the photo mode or a mirror or the inventory, but that for me isn't necessarily a massive flaw. But the fact that it can't run on consoles for me is more of an issue.
Yeah. Again, as well, speaking of RPG stuff and inventory, Gary, like, the one thing that I found ridiculous is if you're actually just like, if you are looking for stats for, you know, your new gear, you end up looking completely stupid.
Yeah, but that's like, you know, any game, like, isn't it?
Yeah, but a lot of RPGs have the cosmetic option attached to that. So, you know, say you find a piece of gear that's really, really good, but you think it looks like complete ass, you add something to the cosmetic thing from stuff you've already picked up.
Name me 4 RPGs that do that, because I can't think of one. It's a good idea, but I can't think of one.
I think WoW does it as a paid thing. You can pay to change the cosmetic of certain equipment to look like something else you've already previously found. Assassin's Creed Odyssey did it. I think the Star Wars MMO did it. I can't name a 4th, so if you're being incredibly pedantic,
three's fine.
You can't.
But the thing is, I could name 4 that don't have it.
Well, yeah, but that's because it's just that extra little bit of work at the end of the day, isn't it? It's easier not to do that, but for players that do quite like the actual role-playing aspect of RPGs, that's a kind of a thing. Just a customer satisfaction sort of thing rather than a necessity.
I would love to have that. I really would, because there's so many cool shit, like hot shit items that are like really, really nice.
Shit hot items. Yeah,
you know what I mean. They look incredible, but the stats are fucking shit.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that, but a lot of I think we talked about Cyberpunk a lot, and I agree with you. It is both a hit and a miss. But I feel like a lot of people who are criticizing the smaller bugs are maybe being a bit too critical, because a lot of those smaller bugs are really fucking funny.
Mm.
The game is 7 years in the making. I think people are going to really pick up small bugs as well as the massive ones. Like, the massive ones shouldn't be there, but the little ones, yeah, they're there. But they did still sort of push this back however many times they did within the year, and they probably knew it wasn't ready, but just released it anyway because that's what people wanted.
Well, I don't think it was the developers' fault. I think it was the publisher's fault.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I say developers, I mean the whole team. I'm just generalizing.
Yeah,
but no, the game wasn't ready. I feel like this is the same. CD Projekt Red are in the same boat as what Halo were at the beginning of the year when Halo released that god awful polygoned picture of the face of one of the boss characters in the new Halo Infinite game, and it looked worse than like Halo 3 or something like that. They've done the right thing. Halo have pushed back their release date to 2021. They've no longer released any new material about the game or anything like that. They've completely sort of gone back to the drawing board and sort of started again, basically, and have gone, right, okay, we need to make this game look a lot better than what we previously showed everyone, and get it released when it's ready. Not try and rush out and get it all done and make it look like, or have it look like shit. So,
well, this will be the thing, won't it? Like, if they do if they have fixed it, then kudos. But a lot of games nowadays are released as Cyberpunk has been. They're broken.
Yeah,
they're not finished.
Is again one of those things that people do complain about Star Citizen about. Is it's 7 years in now. We're now into, well, as of like August next year, it'll be 8 years since the Kickstarter. Which, as far as certain games, that's still less time than Cyberpunk's been in development, I think. But
no, I think hasn't Cyberpunk been in
8 years?
8 years.
Yeah. But, a lot of people go, it's taking too long, blah, 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 feature creep, blah, 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 why is it taking so long, blah, 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 scam. But at the same time, when you do have games that are pushed to release earlier, even though they're not ready yet, sort of thing, like Cyberpunk, if they hadn't announced that was going to come out this year, at the start of this year, sort of thing, and just gone, look, it's close enough for us to show off like we did at E3 a couple of years ago, but it's still going to take... it's still going to take some time. Just so you know, that's it. It's clearly a product. It is happening. Calm your tits. But it needs a lot of fucking work to be where we want it to be.
So that was for Rob both a top and a flop. But Gary, have you got a top or a flop game that you want to talk about?
Well, as we've already mentioned, Among Us and Cyberpunk, I've got a few that I want to say, but I think overall, the toppest of the toppest that I've played this year, aside from the ones we've discussed, is Half-Life Alyx.
Oh, fuck
Yes. That was my next top.
Not only a massively satisfying return to the Half-Life franchise, but a complete showstopper for VR that really shows the potential for the platform. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the next benchmark as well. Like that now for VR users that's the benchmark. You if you release a game now that's worse than Half-Life Alyx, or not, like, I would say you have like a fraction.
Not subpar.
Or, not subpar. Like, you could probably go like a fraction worse. You're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Incredible
Yeah,
story.
there's no other VR games already that are out now are not anywhere near as good as Half-Life Alyx is.
No, I would say the closest one is probably Boneworks, but it doesn't have much of a compelling story. So, or at least for as far as I've played. So it's more like a tech demo, as we've discussed before. Whereas Half-Life Alyx has technical capabilities, the visual just beauty of the game is incredible. And for long-time fans of the Half-Life franchise, it did not disappoint.
You know, it's definitely up there. Definitely one that I would recommend anyone who doesn't have VR, that it's probably worth buying VR just for that game.
Yeah, I mean, if you have money to spend, that's the main thing.
You say that this is $299 now for the
Rift
S. The Rift S, yeah.
True.
And even the Quest now is the same price. So even if you're not too worried about having a decent sort of rig set up, and you just want to play games as on the VR headset as they're supposed to be, like.
Well, I think you can't play all games on the Quest.
No, there's certain games you can play. But the Quest is a lot better than what we think it is.
It is, but it's also not as good as having a separate VR headset and a computer, because you won't be able to play games like Alyx, for example. Whereas you're stuck with specific games. The ones that you're probably going to pick up are Pavlov, if it is available. I have no idea. Haven't researched into it. Beat Saber, maybe Phasmophobia if it's on there. They're the kind of games that you'll be able to play on the Quest. But you won't be able to play. Well, Population 1 is on the Quest, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Population 1 is like the Quest's sort of like go-to game, I believe, at the moment. It's sort of the one that they're marketing their online and sort of advertisements on TV with.
But that's fine, and these games are fun, and we play them as well, and the graphics are exactly the same as they are on the Quest. But when you compare just the perfection that is Half-Life Alyx compared to, say, like Population 1, like, doesn't really compare. You know what I mean? Like,
I can see. Yeah.
They're still good games. Like, that, you know, if you're looking for graphical quality, the Quest doesn't perform as well as just one where you need to have a PC. Whereas if you're not really that fussed by the graphics, or you don't have a lot of money, the Quest is a perfectly viable option.
Yeah, definitely.
And my flop is, as we've discussed before, In Silence.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to the point where, like, we were like, hey, yeah, we should get this, we should play it. Geordie, you'd probably like it. And then we played it and we were like, fuck that, Geordie, don't get it.
Yeah.
It was... I found, like, being the monster got really annoying, because, again, like, the...
Lack of sight.
The lack of sight, it's an interesting concept. It just doesn't work for gaming as a medium. And also, if you were to try and create content for it, what the hell is everybody looking at? And
pitch
not to mention that weird sort of filter they put over it as well. When the match started dragging on, like, I found myself getting quite a bad headache as well. Like, far worse than fucking playing VR or something. It was just,
I mean,
not
partially
fun.
partially the fault of we added infinite timer to it, but then that also shouldn't be an option if it's not part of the game. It was very disappointing. I think maybe when I suggested it to everyone that we should all play it, I think I might have been influenced by streamers. And also the positive reaction on Steam. I think it was either mostly positive or overwhelmingly positive or something like that. So I was like, okay, it must be fun, right? And then seeing loads of content coming out and seeing that people were rating it good, I was expecting it to be good.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. Like we said last time, maybe we're playing it wrong. Who knows? Wasn't fun.
Moving on. Next item. Have we got anything else we want to... Have we got another one you want to talk about, or shall I say my one?
Over to you, my dude.
Yeah. Well, so my next top for this year would have to go to Valorant. I say Valorant has been one of the games this year that I've enjoyed the most, with sort of being an online shooter. It also proves that Riot Games can make more than just a MOBA, and apparently Riot Games are coming out of an MMO next year as well, so they are sort of branching out into other territories when it comes to different games, and hopefully it's not as terrible as the flop of the next game, which I'm going to mention, which is Amazon's Crucible.
Oh, did you play that?
No, I don't think anyone got to play it, because I think it got removed from the stores.
Oh,
but it was just literally, it was one of those games where I looked at it and I was quite interested in playing it, but it flopped. It did so badly at their release that they just removed it, and where they said they wanted to start again from scratch. So that was just sort of two that I've thrown together to have as another top and a flop there. Obviously, you've been playing Valorant with me, Gary. How have you enjoyed it as a newcomer, sort of to the?
I was just about to say, like,
that game.
I really, really enjoy Valorant. It's a very fun, very, very fun first-person shooter, like five-a-side competitive FPS. It feels really fluid to play, if that makes sense. Like, the gunplay is incredible. I love the art style of it. Really love the art style. The character design's really nice as well. And overall, it's just fun. Like, obviously, you get the sweaty people who play it, and you get that with any competitive game. But if you play with like a good group of mates, or even just like you and I have been playing it a lot, Geordie, just on our own, playing with three randoms. It's not the same as playing with a full stack of five, but yeah, I really like it. I have a lot of time for that game. Yeah,
definitely. And just like speaking on the Crucible, free to play multiplayer third person shooters, which was from Relentless, which is one of Amazon's game studios, and October 9th, 2020. They cancelled the game as they couldn't see a sustained future, and that was the reason for the cancellation of it. And they offered refunds to anyone who had bought anything. And then, I believe the developers for that game just got shifted over to their New World MMO.
Oh, yeah.
Another one that's come out. I've not had a chance to play that at all, but I've had a few of my friends who are like WoW heads and play a lot of WoW. They played that and they said, that was a relatively decent MMO. But I've not really heard much of it since it was released. Crucible, it had a lot going for it. And
did you say it got fully cancelled?
Yeah, fully cancelled.
I thought they were redoing it, but
I don't know if they are. If they are planning to redo it. But it was available to download on May 20th, 2020. It has been in development since 2014, and then went back to closed beta in June. So, like, it was out for a month, and they went back into a beta, and then in October they decided to just completely discontinue it. Yeah, so it's one of those ones that we'll never see it, and it's probably one of the bigger. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the bigger sort of sad story of like COVID affecting the gaming industry, sort of thing.
Yeah,
because I believe because COVID made it really difficult for them to try and rebrand and sort of like re-release it. I believe that's what caused them to end up cancelling it.
Fuck.
But yeah, it was sort of supposed to rival Overwatch sort of thing in terms of its gameplay and stuff like that. Sort of a bit of Team Fortress 2-y, bit Overwatchy. But no, yeah, it's sad. It's sad that the pandemic caused such a stir in the gaming industry that it was never really accepted and done well. But yeah, that is one of the flops of the year. I believe it didn't even get. Oh, it got a half decent Metacritic review. I think it was like a 50 or something. I know it isn't great, but it's still like a 4 or 5 out of 10, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but to the games and fucking entertainment industry as a whole, a 4 or a 5 is panned.
Yeah.
A 7 is pretty much a panned as well, because the rating systems are fucking useless.
Yeah, to me personally, a 7's a good game.
Yeah. A 5's probably a good game. It just means that the reviewer didn't fucking get it or play it or do anything with it. They just looked at it and went, yes, they didn't pay me enough to rate this game. Not saying that any of the well-known critics are being bribed. No, not saying that at all.
No, not at all.
It would be libel.
You guys got any other games?
That I can think of.
Not even pros?
I mean, I don't know. Like, there's been games that have come out that I've enjoyed, but I can't really.
I've got another 2 that I can throw out if you guys are
I've got
comment.
I've got another 2 that I could throw out as well. I'm sure.
Sean and Gary, you first.
Phasmophobia?
Oh, yeah, fair.
As your pro, fair enough. Yeah.
I haven't got any negatives. I mean, the only negative I have, I can't really say much about, but I'll get back onto that. But for Phasmophobia, I see that as a really, really big pro, because they have introduced voice chat into a game and made it so that you actually want to use voice chat in the game. And that is the whole draw. Like, you don't want to play the game without voice chat, and can't. And it makes you literally is incentivizing you to want to speak, unlike in silence. You do not want to speak because otherwise you'll get found. Whereas in Phasmophobia, you have to speak or you can't play the game. Full stop. And it's really fucking fun and terrifying and a great game for how much you pay for it as well. It's just an all-round banger.
I still need to play it. I do need to get on to playing a bit of Phasmophobia with you guys.
Oh yeah, and if any new listeners, we play Phasmophobia in VR only, just because it makes it that little bit more immersive, and it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that's his main reason why I've decided not to play it just yet. Is just because it will terrify me. I'm not one that's very good with horror games, as we've spoken about many a time.
Yeah, I was surprised when you said, "Oh, guys have picked it up." I was like, "I like horror games."
I was forced by a few other friends as well to pick it up. So I thought, if you guys have got it as well, I might as well jump in and get it as well, see how it goes. So yeah,
good laugh. I mean, ultimately, when you're playing it, you're like, it's a game. Doesn't matter if you shit yourself. It is ultimately just a game, just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And the flop, which I'm not sure. We've discussed it before. Onward.
Oh yeah, that's been a hit and a flop really. Because when it worked, it was amazing, and then they did the bullshit fucking quest update that just completely ruined it, really, didn't they? Which was not ideal.
Yeah. And I'm not sure whether or not it is still a flop because we haven't touched it since that update a couple of months ago. And it's now allegedly mostly positive on Steam, which, maybe we should try it out again, see how it is.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's back to where it was, but maybe maybe it's okay. I don't know. But that's why I'm kind of a bit hesitant about saying it. It definitely was a flop earlier in the year because of what they did to the game, but maybe it's fixed. We will have to let you know when we play it.
My next top, I think, for the year will go to Call of Duty Warzone, and just how it has been seamlessly probably the best battle royale this year in terms of cross-platform compatibility. Seconded only to Apex Legends, that's now cross-platform as well. I just feel that battle royales and cross-platform is something that people have always wanted. It's something that I've always wanted in the fact of I can now play these battle royale shooters with my friends who have PlayStations or Xboxes, as well as my friends who are on PC as well. So it's a nice contrast.
I don't like that.
No.
Well, consoles have aim assist.
Yeah, but it's not noticeable. Literally not noticeable, especially on the. I've not noticed it on Call of Duty servers. I feel like I'm a lot more precise, even with a keyboard and mouse, against someone with aim assist. But then you will get people who say that aim assist is too good and stuff like that. But I feel that, yeah, cross compatibility, Apex Legends and and Call of Duty for the battle royales, they're definitely two that I'd put up there for my tops. And for the flop, which is going to be my last one that I can put in for today, it will be Fall Guys, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Fall Guys had a really, really good opening season and was really fun. It was the hype it had around it, being cross-platform and very cool controller-based game. You can play just anywhere with anyone. Very kid-friendly and just full of silliness, really. And it was just fun when it came out, and now it's just died and isn't as popular as it was. I'm not sure how it happened or what happened. And Rob was right, Gary. Rob said that it would die after a couple of months.
Yeah,
and it did.
You were right, Rob.
I think they're halfway through season 2 now, and I've not even touched it. I think the last time I played that game was September.
Yeah, same. I really enjoyed that game, but actually, my last time I played was August. But yeah, just I don't know.
It just didn't really work, did it? It was good fun in a little sort of way, but in a very, very brief sort of stint.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucked. Because, I don't know. I don't really know how to put it into words. It could have been.
Like if it was a team-based game, it would have been a lot better. The fact that you're up against people who are completely fucking you up, if you win, it's all down to chance. I'm sure there'll be people who say otherwise, but you could get absolutely fucking shat on by incompetent players, and it's not your fault.
I think another big thing as well, which really killed it for me, definitely was just the amount of hackers.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
Weirdly large amount of people hacking on a kids game to win.
Yeah.
That is beyond sad.
Well, so problem there is because they wanted to get all the really difficult to get skins and then sell it on. That's what they're doing. By adding in microtransactions and unlockables, by only winning the game, you have then created a need and a drive for getting that. And because only 1 in 100 people can get that fucking crown, and the skins cost like 6 crowns, so you got to win 6 games in order to get a fucking skin, means that people will hack. You fucked yourselves, you microtransaction fuckers.
I think it wasn't microtransactions to the point of like it wasn't even microtransactions because
buy them.
You couldn't buy crowns, Gary.
Pretty sure you could buy skins.
Yeah, you can pay for the kudos, which is what you get, which is just basically XP. So you can pay to get more XP to unlock normal and like common skins. But the skins that were legendary and the ones that everyone was sought after, you could only get those by winning games.
Sure, I think
so that was the reason.
Buy the crowns.
No, you can't buy crowns. You couldn't buy crowns.
But then either way, it's still it's not necessarily
the
a
reason why people were
microtransaction.
hacking is because you couldn't buy them.
Yeah, but
if you could buy them, that would probably stop people from hacking.
But the unlockables are still, in theory, a microtransaction of sorts. It's not like monetary value, but you still have to obtain a more or less unobtainable thing.
Not really. It's like saying if they made the what are the points called in Hunt that you can buy?
Blood bonds.
Yeah, it's like saying if they made blood bonds something that you only got from winning games and not allow you to buy them. So you could only unlock legendary skins from the game by winning games. Whereas in Hunt, you can just buy those blood bonds and buy your legendary skins straight up. This on Fall Guys, you actually have to win. You actually have to complete the game, win games to be able to buy those legendary skins, which I think is more fair. But the fact that hackers are in the game and hack their way to get those skins is the downside. It's not really a microtransaction because it's something you earn by playing the game and being good at the game.
Yeah, I guess so.
It doesn't involve you having to use your wallet to be able to get those skins.
True.
Whereas someone on Hunt could just whack 50 quid into their account and buy every legendary skin and item that they wanted.
True.
Yeah, that's me done. Unless you boys have got anything else on the agenda for your tops and your flops.
I've got nothing, mate. Nothing.
I got nothing more either.
Nothing more. Well,
I mean,
not sure.
Baldur's Gate came out, but I feel like we got to wait until that's fully released.
You can't fully judge that until it's out.
Yeah,
like completely.
I'm pretty excited.
Oh god, yeah, me too.
Yeah, well, Baldur's Gate for me was one of those ones where I'm not going to give it a review as of yet because it is still early access.
Yeah.
Alongside Satisfactory, like Satisfactory is a good game, and I enjoyed the early access. But Baldur's Gate, I'm need to wait for that to have a few more updates and sort of more content in it for me to then go right. Yeah, this is something that I can play. It's like with probably you guys with Divinity. You guys got Divinity when it was in early access and probably didn't have much content.
Oh, yeah. I bought it while it was in early access, but I didn't actually play it until it came out because, again, I didn't really want to spoil any of it, which me and Gary have completely gone against this time around, which is...
Yeah, this time on Baldur's Gate, we were like, nah, let's fucking play it, which hasn't been a bad shade. We're very much enjoying it.
Yeah, on your guys' next playthrough when you guys start, I'll definitely join in and play a bit of that. But I'm going to wait for a few more updates probably before I have another go.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But yeah, so let's have a little quick one to round off this episode for today. What are you guys looking forward to most for next year? Is there any particular game you're looking forward to? Are you looking forward to potentially any events, if there are any events coming up or anything?
Well, hopefully, if not next year, the year after, Baldur's Gate will be released, which would be really fun. There's no specific timeline for that yet. Like we haven't got an announcement date for it, but hopefully it will either be next year or the year after. But I don't know. In Lock as well, Rob.
Oh yeah, Under Lock. That should be out in the next week or so, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
VR Damned,
which is a horror asymmetric game.
Yes. So that should be quite good fun.
Yeah. And Monstrum 2, I think, is coming out next year as well, right?
I think so. Also, going to be quite interested to see, essentially things going back to normal, hopefully, which means, live events and stuff happening again, as opposed to these horribly handled digital-only ones like it wasn't E3, was it? Was it the Game Awards
Gamescom?
And stuff Gamescom that just felt so clunky and bad. Like, there was just nothing to them because you could tell they'd been sort of just thrown together a bit. Hosts that didn't really have, like, let's just say they weren't exactly the most charismatic of people and things. And you're just like, oh god, this was tragic to watch, sort of thing.
Yeah, and the difficulty is when everyone's relying on internet and you're doing live streams of internet, like across the internet, there's that delay and it's just not impactful at all. Yeah. I know you've got to get your like 5, 10, half an hour, minute of fame, but like maybe pre-record it. It's was also a bit
disappointed that there was no CitizenCon at all this year. They could have done something digital only for Star Citizen because they're always quite interesting to watch. And the fact that like the last couple of years they've switched over to what's coming pretty much next couple of updates as opposed to what's coming eventually sort of thing has been, they've been quite nice, but obviously we just didn't have one this year, so it was a bit of a all right.
Yeah, that wasn't even like said. There's nothing said about that either, was there?
No, it was just, well, okay. We're not. I mean, they booked out some event hall in LA or something and things before everything went to complete shit. So obviously they planned for that, but then didn't really have a way to translate all of it over to something live. I'd have been quite happy with just the, standard sort of. Just a few panels or something, to be honest. Just stick a live chat with some of the like design leads and things on to see what they're, what they're working on and how far away it is. Really, ideally, that'd have been nice. But hey ho, can't have it all.
Yeah, there's a few games I'm looking forward to next year. Oh, four games, in fact.
Marvel Avengers 2?
No, unfortunately not. No. Two of them are very similar games, which we've had a discussion about. We will probably discuss more in detail as and when it comes nearer the time for them. A couple of games coming out, but we've got Warhammer 40k Darktide.
Oh yes,
is coming out sometime in 2021. I'm not sure the actual time that's coming out. And Back for Blood.
Oh yes,
coming out in June 22nd, I believe that one's coming out. So 4 months away, not too long really to wait for that one.
Battlefield 6.
That's 6 is that
due for next year, and hopefully they've learned a few things from how they handled Battlefield 5 to actually make this one good.
As much as
I love Battlefield 5, like, it wasn't the best.
Yeah, I've been missing a Battlefield game in my life.
Yeah, as always, Gary, wait until Christmas for Battlefield games, and the Origin ones always go on sale for like 50% off, like immediately.
I might just see. I might get swept into the hype of it, but I'm just going to see how it is because I really enjoyed Battlefield 5. It was fun, but it just died. And
it just wasn't handled well. It didn't have that sort of level of content that Battlefield 1 did. Like,
yeah, and the fucking bugs on launch. Bugs on launch.
Bugs on launch. Again, this is what QC's for. This is what QA testers are for. And we just didn't have any of that by the looks of it.
It's funny, isn't it? Like, I don't know if it's our expectations are too high or people are like the games companies are being pushed too hard. Maybe it's a bit of both, but it shouldn't happen to all the fucking games that are coming out. I don't know any AAA title that's come out in the last few years which has been completely perfect on launch.
No, which is a shame.
There's always going to be bugs regardless, but like not like fucking crippling bugs where it's just like that should have been picked up.
Yeah, I'm struggling to think of of an AA title that's come out, which is, well, AA title on PC. I'd say that you guys probably agree as well. A game that we probably missed out of the top list. It isn't necessarily a PC game, but Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah.
That's definitely one of the games it's won awards this year and on how good it is. So
yeah, it didn't have any bugs.
Probably deserved a shout out.
I mean, actually, if I'm going to be truthfully honest, Animal Crossing has a lot of bugs.
Fucking knobhead.
But see, like, this is the annoying thing, right? Nintendo don't make that many original games anymore. They just reuse the same formula, but it works. It's a really fucking fun game. It's just really well done. And I don't know. I couldn't name many Nintendo games that have come out recently which have bugs.
No,
they're mostly
it's because they don't have bugs. It's because they have good testing teams and sort of a strong player base like that.
Well,
knows what they want and knows what they're expecting.
Well, I think the QCs probably pick up a lot of the stuff, but the developers or the publishers are pushing or being pushed too hard to release the game quicker than it should be. Whereas I think Nintendo may go, right, we've actually got to release this a little bit later because we don't want to damage our reputation. Because if we fuck up a Pokemon game, then that'll be it for the next couple of generations.
Yeah.
Whereas if we make sure that the Pokemon game, the Zelda game, the Mario game are all fucking perfect, people will keep coming back. None of those games, as far as I'm aware, had bugs.
Yep.
On release, they ran fucking perfectly. Albeit they only have to worry about one fucking system.
Yeah.
Does it work on the Switch? Yeah. Good. Right. Any other AAA title? Does it work on a PC? Does it work on a high-end PC? Does it work on a low-end PC? Does it work on a PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox One X, Xbox Series X?
And that's probably one of the reasons for their success, mate. It's probably why they don't have any bugs is because they only have to worry about doing it on their own console, and they know what their console can handle.
Maybe AAA titles need to just stick to one console then, and maybe there will be a divide. Maybe you buy a console for a certain set of games and another console for a certain set of games. Maybe that's how we have to go moving forward. People will be pissed off by that, though.
Oh yeah, we will see when we find out about Bethesda and Xbox, whether they're going to be allowed on both consoles and stuff like that. That'll be an interesting. Another game I'm looking forward to as well, in the veins of my Civilization group that I play with. We're looking forward to Humankind. Another sort of 4X turn-based strategy game. It's Sega and Amplitude Studios.
Oh yeah.
Basically, very much like Civilization, but it allows you to create your own civilization instead of playing as a civilization, which already has its predetermined what it does, what a civilization does. Like going from Rome, you'll go through these sort of stages into these sort of stages. This is a civilization builder, which you can then branch off, and there's loads of different sort of branches you can go through different historical cultures and sort of choose your own development in which ways you want to go. So it seems like a lot more different ways for you to basically change your civilization and your cities and stuff like that. And it also looks really, really cool. It's not like a hexagonal grid like you're used to on most games, but yeah, it's good. And I believe that's coming out in July. I've got it pre-ordered not pre-ordered, but I've got it on my Steam wishlist, ready for when that comes out. Anything else you boys think of that's coming out next year that you're looking forward to?
Nothing major that I can think of at the moment. So
most games haven't well, as far as I'm aware, most games I assume that will be coming out next year haven't even been announced yet. So I guess we'll see, won't we? What if there'll be some interesting new drops? Like, Valorant was a big one. Apex was a big one when that was announced a couple of years back as well. So maybe there'll be another another big hitter like that. Maybe another game from 2018 or 2016 came out and people jump back onto that like they did with Among Us.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows indeed. Right. I think that's all we've got time for then today on today's episode. Thank you all for listening. And hope you all have a prosperous 2021 and looking forward to more episodes of us rambling on about games for the rest of the year. Is there anything else you guys like to say to the listeners?
I hope your year is not as shit as the last one.
Amen to that.
Amen. Right. So, guys, we will... Where we want to go if we want to see more of your content, Robert?
Well, you can find me on YouTube at Rob Coxley and also Twitch at Rob Coxley.
And Gary?
You can also find me on YouTube, youtube.com/n-plays.
And you can find me on Twitch on, hopefully, which will be coming soon, our joint VGC_podcast Twitch account. And if not, I'll be on my normal account at twitch.tv/GeordieWiz. Yeah, we hope to see you in the new year. And
Well, this is the new year.
it is the new year, yes. Yeah. We hope to see you. And we'll see you hopefully next Tuesday. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.